Standing over the blood-soaked corpse of his fallen enemy, our MC actually shows a bit of class for once.
He pays his final respects, admitting that even though they were at each other's throats, this guy was a worthy opponent he hasn't seen in ages. But don't let the drama fool you, because our hero is basically 1 foot in the grave himself.
He's forced to chug a top-grade salvation healing potion immediately, unless he wants to join his buddy on the floor.
As this masterpiece elixir hits his system, it starts knitting his flesh back together and recharging his stamina like a cheat code.
The catch? This miraculous juice is a one-time deal, and his body will never be affected by it again. While his skin looks fresh, his insides are still a total wreck from that enemy aura.
The system is literally screaming at him that his fatigue has hit a critical peak because he was spamming skills like a total sweat. The system tries to force a nap on him for safety, but he fights the darkness like a champ.
He knows that taking a snooze in the middle of hostile territory is basically asking the Imperial goons to finish the job.
Desperate to stay on his feet, he decides to double down on the crazy and activates his draconian skill, Gluttony.
It is time to have a little snack, and by snack, I mean devouring the essence of that corrupted demonic human. This gruesome buffet actually works, refilling his mana and mental power instantly.
Talk about a glow-up. His C-rank static discharge skill even evolves into a terrifying A-rank lightning ability, pulling him right back from the edge.
Now that he is not actively dying, he moves on to the best part of any fight, the loot.
He claims the legendary armor of the Fallen Cain, and the system prompts him to register this shiny new gear as his own.
This armor is an absolute beast with 28 magic circles engraved on it, but our MC is no fool. He packs it away for now because wearing Cain's signature fit would basically be a neon sign for the Imperial bastards to find him.
Just as he's ready to dip, a disgusting smell hits him, the pungent stench of blood and rotting meat.
He follows his nose and finds a secret laboratory that looks like a literal nightmare fuel factory. It turns out this place is a hub for human experimentation, and his hatred for the Empire hits a new all-time high.
But there is no time for a moral speech because the guards finally realize they have an uninvited guest.
The enemies try to be sneaky and deploy a magically formulated poison gas, thinking they've got him trapped.
Too bad for them. His poison resistance is cracked, and he pops an upper-class antidote like it's a breath mint.
He draws his weapon with pure murder in his eyes, ready to turn these researchers into statistics. He's not just here for revenge, though. He's hunting for any secret files that might link this horror show to the Rose disease.
Out of the shadows steps the big boss of the lab, a high-ranking member of the Desert Scorpion clan.
These guys are infamous for playing with forbidden magic, and this old man looks like he hasn't had a hug in decades. Realizing he is facing an executive-level 6 circle mage, our MC knows this fight is going to be a massive pain.
He's disgusted that the Empire is even working with these desert creeps, but he's more than happy to show them the door.
The mage throws out some high-level spells, but our protagonist counters with a slick mana reflection. It's so effective that the old man starts panicking, wondering if he is actually fighting a pure-blooded Draker. Seeing his magic fail, the mage pulls out his trump card and summons his greatest masterpiece. It is a synthetic chimera, a biological monstrosity specifically engineered with one goal: hunting and killing dragons.
This beast is a total freak of nature, moving with speed that makes our hero's shadowless steps look like he's walking through mud.
The MC is forced onto the defensive, and the clock is ticking before Imperial reinforcements arrive to join the party. Every time he tries to find an opening, the chimera shuts him down with raw, animalistic violence. It is a masterpiece of biological engineering, and for the first time in a while, our boy is actually feeling the pressure. He tries to pivot and use his Gale arts, but the monster has no blind spots. He's bleeding again and losing time, knowing that if he doesn't end this now, he's going to be surrounded by an entire army of Imperial simps.
Just as things are looking grim, the system notices that this monster is basically a high-end pet.
A hidden innate authority within the protagonist finally wakes up, and it's about to turn the tables in the most savage way possible.
A system window pops up with the ultimate gotcha moment, asking if he wants to activate Dragonic control.
If he says yes, he won't just kill this beast. He'll subjugate it and turn the mage's own masterpiece against him.
Imagine being a massive synthetic beast thinking you're the top dog, only to have a random guy look you in the eye and tell you to submit.
Our MC isn't playing around and activates Dragon's dignity, instantly showing this overgrown lizard who the real boss is.
The system literally calls this thing a trivial dragon, which is the ultimate emotional damage.
It is whimpering and shaking like a puppy that just got caught chewing on the furniture because the MC's draconic control is just that cracked.
The MC realizes the crazy scientist who made this chimera actually used dragon traits, which was a massive mistake.
He decides to skip the formalities and just subjugates the target right then and there.
Magic chains of light wrap around the beast, sealing the deal.
The notification pops up confirming the trivial dragon is now officially his property.
Talk about a glow-up for the MC's pet collection. The chimera is suddenly acting all gentle, rubbing against the MC like a giant scaly cat. Meanwhile, its original master is in the back having a total meltdown because his ultimate weapon just ghosted him for a better owner. Our MC gives the beast its first order: bite that bastard.
The chimera doesn't hesitate for a second and turns its old master into a snack, leaving nothing but a ghost of a man crying over his life choices.
After the cleanup, the MC loots the body and finds some spicy ID papers. Turns out the dead guy was Gurav al-Rahmani, the second in command of the Scorpion clan. That is one heavy hitter off the board.
The system asks the MC to give his new pet a name so he can summon it whenever he wants.
The beast is looking all hopeful, probably expecting something cool like Shadow Flame or World Eater. Since our MC has a savage sense of humor, he names the dragon Gurav after the guy it just ate. The beast looks absolutely disgusted by the lack of creativity, but it is too late now, buddy. You are officially Gurav.
We shift scenes to the syndicate headquarters where the big boss is slow clapping like a classic movie villain.
He is praising Zeke Murray for taking out the traitor Paolo and proving he is the real deal.
The boss is sitting there acting all dignified, but we all know he is a walking red flag.
He is impressed that cowardly Paolo is finally out of the picture, thanks to the MC's hard work. This guy starts talking about how he treasures his warriors like they are his own children. It is the most cringeworthy thing I have ever heard, and you can tell the MC is barely holding back his internal screaming. The MC gets a sudden flashback of what happens to the boss's children, and it is not pretty. He knows this man just uses people as tools until they break, and he is absolutely sick of the fake act. To show his trust, the boss reveals a little present he prepared. It is a stack of gift boxes, but they aren't filled with chocolate or expensive watches. The vibe in the room just went from zero to psycho real fast. The MC keeps his cool, but he knows exactly what is inside. The boss wants proof of trust to match the MC's claims of being a loyal business partner. This is some next-level cartel logic. The size and weight of the boxes are a dead giveaway.
There is blood leaking out of the bottom because apparently, the syndicate's HR department handles layoffs with a guillotine.
Inside the boxes are the heads of the syndicate's executives. The boss just wiped out his own leadership team to clear the path for the MC's plan. That is one way to handle a corporate restructure. The boss asks if he likes the gift, and the MC just gives a dark smirk.
Everything is going according to plan, and now that the trash is cleared out, it is time to put K on top of the food chain.
But there is a catch.
The Pabella cartel has caught on to the attack, and because of the total destruction, they think the Imperial Knights and mages were involved. The MC's overkill might have been a bit too loud.
The boss wants the MC to go on another slaughter spree and teach those nasty pirate bastards that Murray is the only master of the southern continent.
He is basically asking for a one-man war. He demands that Kay be given absolute power so she can become the new core of the syndicate.
He is basically building his own queen while the boss thinks he is just being a loyal soldier. The boss agrees to be her backer, which is exactly what the MC wanted.
To make sure the job gets done, he snaps his fingers to call in the big guns. Suddenly, the room is full of the cartel's greatest hitmen and elite squads. These guys look like they haven't slept in 3 years and live on a diet of pure violence.
The MC looks at the new squad and realizes they might actually be useful.
One guy with an eye patch looks particularly edgy, so you know he is probably the strongest one there.
Abel is poking around the craters and bloodstains.
He is not buying the official story that a whole squad did this. He senses a lingering power that is way too concentrated for a group effort.
He drops a bombshell and says there was only one person here.
His partner is losing his mind because the traces of swords and magic suggest a level of power that shouldn't exist in the wild. Abel deduces that the attacker is at least at the level of a Red Knight.
He realizes the Empire is desperately trying to hide the existence of this monster, who soloed an entire fortress.
William is terrified of poking the Intelligence Bureau, but Abel doesn't care about the rules. He is obsessed with finding out what the Empire is hiding because his instincts are screaming that this is his big break. Abel is basically a red-haired psycho with a dream.
He knows he can't miss whatever is hidden here, and his eyes are glowing with that classic "I am going to betray everyone" energy.
He declares that he wants to make the Draker legacy and the entire Empire his own.
We have got ourselves another ambitious villain entering the chat, and things are about to get even more chaotic. Look at this atmosphere.
Our MC is sneaking into the Pabella cartel port under the cover of darkness like a true professional.
While most people are sleeping, he is out here planning a massive bloodbath, starting with these poor guards who never stood a chance.
He is out here drowning guards silently because nothing ruins a good infiltration like a loud scream.
It is efficient, it is brutal, and it is exactly the kind of savage energy we love to see from a regressor who is tired of everyone's nonsense.
Meet the companion of the hour, Simon Zapatero.
This guy was the MC's mentor back in the day, teaching him all those spicy southern martial arts and assassination tricks.
In a cartel full of backstabbers and trash, Simon was the only one he could actually trust.
Even after the MC hit the rewind button on life, their battle synergy is still absolutely cracked. They move like they are sharing a single brain cell, which is bad news for anyone standing in their way. Imagine having a teammate who actually knows what they are doing for once. The city is crawling with enemies, so the MC decides to take the scenic route through the underground tunnels.
Since this place used to belong to the Holy Empire, he knows there is a hidden network beneath their feet.
It is big brain time, ladies and gentlemen.
Simon thinks going underground is a suicide mission because of the labyrinthine maze, but he forgot our boy has a cheat code.
The MC activates his minimap guide function, and suddenly that terrifying maze looks like a tutorial level. Talk about an unfair advantage. Time to split the party. Simon is tasked with planting explosives all over the place to turn this facility into a fireworks show, while our MC goes solo to find the man of the hour. The cartel is second in command, Mateo. The plan is simple but chaotic. If he kills Mateo, the Pabella boss is going to lose his mind and start a full-blown war with the McCain cartel.
Our MC is out here playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers, and he is loving every second of it. Here is the real kicker: his own boss, Don Juan, is a total snake. He probably sent them here as sacrificial lambs, expecting them to die just to send a message to Pabella.
But joke's on him, because our MC is not planning on becoming a ghost today.
Just as he is getting close, the system fails him.
A group of hidden guards jumps out from the shadows because they were too high level for his mini-map to detect. It is an ambush, and the enemy is screaming to capture him alive for the mage squad.
Our MC is just standing there looking disappointed.
He thought the Empire and Pabella were working together, but if this is the best security they can muster, he is seriously offended.
These guys are basically walking loot boxes at this point.
He activates swift steps and starts dancing around these goons like they are standing still. It is a total slaughterhouse as he counters their every move. If you are going to ambush a regressor, you should at least bring someone who can actually land a hit. Time to turn up the heat.
He unleashes his elemental sword as wind field, slicing through the air and the enemies alike.
He is genuinely confused why the Empire sent such weak troops. Is this a joke to them? Because it is definitely a joke to him. He has lost all patience with these extras.
He activates his draconian skill, Dragon is Dignity, and the entire room is suddenly heavy with pure terror.
He gives them one chance to run for their lives, and honestly, they should have taken it. Suddenly, a chilling voice calls him a roach. Out of the shadows emerges a mysterious, high-level black mage who has been watching the whole time. This guy is giving off major Scorpion Clan vibes, but something about his lack of an insignia is very suspicious.
The mage isn't here for a chat. He summons a massive horde of undead zombies to snatch the MC's soul.
It is a classic necromancer move, but our MC doesn't look scared. In fact, he looks like he just found a gold mine. Instead of panicking, he starts farming the miasma-corrupted zombie knights like it is a Sunday afternoon in an RPG.
Every kill is popping up a notification for karma points.
He is literally getting paid in power to clean up the trash.
Look at that smile.
He is having the time of his life harvesting points.
The black mage realizes his summons are just fuel for the MC's growth and decides that he has had enough.
He vanishes into the darkness like a coward before things get even worse.
The mage is gone, and the MC is just annoyed he couldn't turn the guy into points yet.
But no worries, he's got a job to finish.
He wipes the blood off his blade and heads straight for Mateo's private office to deliver that final blow.
He steps into the room, ready to end the second-in-command, but the figure in the chair doesn't look like a victim. The air freezes as the man turns around with a look that says he was expecting this all along. The figure speaks, and it is the last name the MC expected to hear in this room. He says he has been waiting for Simon. Wait, what? Is Simon a double agent? Or is this a trap within a trap? We are ending on a massive cliffhanger, and my head is spinning. Imagine realizing your boss doesn't just want to fire you. He wants to delete your entire existence to tidy up some loose ends.
That is the cold shower Simon is getting right now as he realizes Don Juan has ordered his execution before the cartel war even kicks off.
Our MC is brutally honest, telling Simon there is zero room for a mid-level operator like him in the boss's grand design.
It is savage, but true, especially since the entire syndicate is about to be reorganized around K, making the old guard completely obsolete. Simon is genuinely confused why the infamous shadowless ghost hasn't turned him into a kebab yet. But the confusion turns into pure shock when the assassin speaks his real name, Simon Zapatero, out loud. The look on his face is absolute cinema.
Zeke is not just here for a fight, he is here to dismantle Simon's entire world. He starts revealing intimate details about Simon's hidden past, specifically his secret mission to protect the last remaining bloodline of the fallen Cusco kingdom.
Talk about having the ultimate receipts. Simon is spiraling, demanding to know who could possibly hold such dangerous secrets. He is staring at the assassin like he is a ghost, and honestly, with the way Zeke is reading his soul, he might as well be one. The mask finally comes off, and the reveal is a total game-changer. Our protagonist unmasks himself as Zeke Draker, a direct descendant of the legendary Draker lineage. This isn't just a name drop, it is a declaration of war. Simon is shaking to his core because a Blue Knight getting involved means the entire continent is going to start looking at their little corner of the world. Zeke is quick to clarify that this isn't a family matter. It is a personal vendetta, and he is doing it all on his own accord. Now comes the ultimatum that changes everything. Zeke demands that Simon switch sides immediately.
In exchange for his sword, Zeke promises to protect the royal bloodline and even help rebuild the kingdom that was stolen from them.
It is a deal too good to pass up, but the stakes are lethal.
Zeke presses the advantage by pointing out the grim reality of Simon's current employment.
Don Juan has never sent reinforcements for Simon or his men because the boss actually wants the former royal knights to disappear. He is basically being used as a disposable shield.
The truth gets even uglier as Zeke exposes how the cartels built their empires on seized Cusco lands.
Don Juan's master plan is to let the Pabella cartel finish Simon off so he can sell the hidden princess to the rebels for a massive profit.
The betrayal is deep and disgusting.
We get a glimpse into Simon's tragic history, showing how he fled with a newborn princess 10 years ago. He became a hitman and stained his hands with blood just to gain the strength needed to restore her throne.
He is a simp for loyalty, but he has been serving the wrong master.
In the previous timeline, this blind loyalty led to a total disaster where Simon was disposed of like trash and the princess ended up in a slave market.
Zeke is basically a walking spoiler alert, and he is determined to rewrite this tragic ending for good. Simon finally starts to see the light, acknowledging that the McCain cartel stability has been crumbling ever since Zeke showed up.
He finally asks the million-dollar question, what is the ultimate goal behind all this chaos?
Zeke's answer is short, sweet, and incredibly violent. He wants to incite a war that wipes both cartels off the map, with Don Juan's head as the final prize.
It is the kind of ambition that makes Simon realize he is finally following a real leader.
The pact is sealed.
Simon kneels and swears his sword and his honor as the former guard commander to his new master, Zeke Draker.
This isn't just an alliance. It is the birth of a new power dynamic that is going to set the underworld on fire.
Back to the mission, we find out that the Pabella executive, Mateo, is already tied up and waiting for his turn to cry.
Simon's subordinates are moving into position, proving that these guys are actually competent when they aren't being betrayed by their boss.
Zeke confronts a terrified Mateo, mocking him for thinking the McCain cartel would actually save him.
The arrogance is off the charts, and Zeke is loving every second of watching this mid-tier villain squirm before delivering a message that's written in blood.
After delivering the final blow to Mateo, Zeke ensures the blame for the hit falls exactly where it needs to.
He has also secured the cartel's secret ledgers, which are basically the keys to the kingdom. This man is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. The escape isn't going to be easy, though.
Enemy forces are swarming the corridor like angry hornets.
But Zeke isn't worried. He just draws his elemental sword and prepares to show these extras why you don't mess with a Draker.
He unleashes a massive blaze field, turning the entire hallway into a literal barbecue.
The flames are gorgeous, and the enemy fodder is getting toasted. Simon's subordinates are so impressed they instinctively bow to their new boss amidst the fire and smoke. The hype is real, but the enemy's tracking magic is closing in fast. They need to move, and they need to move now. Zeke orders a split, volunteering to be the decoy because he is just built different. He tells Simon to take his men and link up with Kay at the Syndicate.
Simon hesitates for a second, his heart still heavy for the princess who is supposed to be trapped at the McCain headquarters. He is terrified that leaving her behind means losing everything he has fought for over the last decade.
Zeke just gives him a confident smirk, reminding him that he has predicted every single move so far.
He didn't just plan for the escape, he planned for the rescue too. The level of preparation is honestly terrifying. Mateo's screams echo through the halls, but it's too late for him. Zeke's plan is in full motion, and the chaos he's sown is about to bear fruit.
The McCain cartel won't even know what hit them until their world is already reduced to ashes.
With the secret ledgers in hand, Zeke is essentially holding a ticking time bomb for the entire underworld. Every secret, every bribe, and every dirty deal is now his to exploit. Don Juan's empire is built on a foundation of sand, and Zeke is the incoming tide. As they move through the underground paths, the tension remains high. Simon is still processing the fact that his life's mission is finally within reach, all because he decided to trust a man he was supposed to kill. Talk about a career pivot. The enemy tries one last desperate push to stop them, but Zeke's fire magic is just too overwhelming.
It's a total massacre, and it serves as a final warning to anyone else thinking of standing in his way.
The shadowless ghost has truly evolved into something much more dangerous. The chapter ends with a feeling of absolute triumph.
The pieces are all on the board, the alliances are forged, and the princess is safe.
Zeke Draker isn't just a name anymore. It's a promise of total destruction for his enemies. Stay tuned, because the real fun starts now. Simon's men are fully integrated now, looking at Zeke with a mix of awe and terror.
They've seen what he can do, and they're more than happy to follow him into the jaws of hell if it means getting their kingdom back.
Zeke's decoy plan is the perfect distraction, drawing the heat away from the vulnerable knights. He's moving with the grace of a predator, leading the pursuers on a wild goose chase, while his new allies disappear into the shadows.
The final confirmation of the princess's safety is the cherry on top.
Zeke's meticulous planning has paid off, and for the first time in 10 years, Simon can actually breathe. The debt he owes Zeke is one he can never truly repay, but his loyalty will have to do for now.
As Zeke disappears into the darkness, leaving a trail of fire and broken enemies behind, the legend of the Draker descendant begins to grow.
The cartels are about to learn the hard way that some legends are better left undisturbed. Absolute peak fiction.
Welcome to the southern continent, where the local mafia boss, Don Juan, is currently having a total mental breakdown because his empire is basically a dumpster fire.
He is smashing desks and losing his mind because in just 1 month, half of his top executives have been turned into past tense by those crazy pirates.
This clown finally realizes that sending Zeke and Simon on a suicide mission was the biggest backfire in history, as they actually succeeded and started a literal war.
One of his subordinates suggests a strategic retreat, basically telling the boss to go hide like a coward while they try to lure the pirates into a trap.
Don Juan is so full of himself that he actually thinks this crisis is just a training arc that will make his cartel stronger, so he agrees to go to his villa in Tawani.
Little does this arrogant geezer know, he is not setting a trap for the pirates. He is walking straight into his own funeral while his men cheer him on.
Back at the mansion, the subordinate who suggested the plan is shaking like a leaf because he was actually forced to betray his boss to save his own skin.
Zeke appears out of nowhere like a nightmare, thanking the traitor for his service before making sure he never talks again in a very messy fashion. We cut to the remote villa where Don Juan is acting like he is on a luxury vacation, completely unaware that his life expectancy just dropped to 0. He is sitting there sipping wine and acting all high and mighty until he hears a noise and realizes he did not actually summon any servants to his room.
The shadows start moving and Zeke steps into the light, looking like the Grim Reaper coming to collect a very overdue debt from this pathetic cartel boss. Zeke mocks him for trying to enjoy a relaxing vacation while his entire organization is being dismantled piece by the people he tried to kill. Don Juan tries to act tough, claiming he has faced threats like this before, but his glass of wine gets shattered along with his remaining dignity. The boss starts screaming for his guards to make Zeke kneel, but Zeke just stands there with a savage smirk, enjoying the old man's desperate barking.
Zeke coldly drops the bombshell that no one is coming to save him because every single guard in the villa has already been sent to the afterlife. Here comes the real tea. Zeke mentions his previous life and how he regretted not making this bastard suffer enough before the timeline reset.
He describes the nightmares of being forced to crawl like a dog under Don Juan's orders and killing countless innocents just to satisfy the cartel's greed. Don Juan starts screaming that he is some kind of savior chosen by God, which is the ultimate red flag for a delusional psycho who needs to be silenced.
Zeke decides to stop the talking and starts the carving, promising the boss that he will feel every ounce of pain he inflicted on others before he finally dies. As the sun rises over a very bloody villa, Zeke walks out looking refreshed, having finally crossed off one of the biggest names on his revenge list.
He meets up with his red-haired partner to hear that the syndicate has successfully framed the dead Don Juan for the entire purge of the executives. With the cartel out of the way, Zeke shifts to his next big brain move, partnering with the Reinhardt Merchant Group to build a pharmaceutical empire. They plan to use Soma to create high-quality medicine, turning a literal drug into a legal gold mine, while Zeke handles the shady logistics in the background. When his partner worries about the law, Zeke casually mentions they will just get cultivation permits from the Cusco Kingdom after they help restore it.
Zeke suddenly realizes he is late for a very important date after receiving a personal invitation from Prince Callus Nerva Constantinus himself.
The problem is the prince is in Atlas, which is days away by normal travel, and arriving late would make the smart people there suspect he was busy killing bosses. He knows the prince's circle might connect his absence to the destruction of the McCain cartel, so he needs a perfect alibi that defies the laws of physics.
Zeke decides to flex his system powers and drops 600 points on a portal function to teleport instantly across the continent like a total cheat code.
He materializes at the Atlas Hotel Sky Lounge just in time, walking into the party looking like he spent the whole day relaxing instead of committing mass murder.
Zeke greets Prince Callus with a fake smile, but his eyes immediately lock onto Abel Draker, signaling that the next round of drama is about to begin.
Imagine getting summoned by royalty and thinking the world is ending, only to find out Prince Callus is just looking for a drinking buddy.
Our boy Zeke looks like he is ready for a war, but the only thing being fought here is a bottle of expensive wine.
The prince starts complaining that his usual aides, William and Abel, are absolute lightweights who cannot hold their liquor. He calls Zeke a wild type, because apparently, being a legendary warrior also means you need a liver made of steel.
Abel is lurking in the background looking suspicious as always, and Zeke can already tell this is not just going to be a casual happy hour.
The red-haired snake has that "I have a secret" look written all over his face while the drinks start pouring. They toast to a pleasant time, but in this world, a pleasant time usually ends with someone getting stabbed in the back.
Zeke plays along with a smile, but you know he is scanning the room for red flags like a pro.
Abel decides to crash the party and sit right next to Zeke, acting all polite and apologetic for the interruption.
He is putting on his best nice brother act, but we all know this guy is the definition of a walking red flag.
The vibe shifts faster than a mood ring when Abel asks Zeke what he really thinks about Housedraker.
It is not just small talk. He is setting the stage for some serious family drama that is about to go off the rails.
Hold on to your seats because Abel just dropped a bombshell.
He whispers that he plans to bring the entire Draker family to absolute ruin.
This guy is literally plotting the downfall of his own bloodline while sipping wine like a total psycho. Abel stares into Zeke's soul and claims they share the same scent, the scent of a predator forged in blood, death, and constant battle.
He is basically telling Zeke that they are both monsters wearing human skin, and honestly, he is not entirely wrong.
He calls Zeke the perfect role model of a pure-blood Dragonslayer.
It is high-level yapping, but Abel is trying to convince him that their shared predator nature means they should be on the same team of chaos.
Abel starts roasting noble bloodlines like they are yesterday's trash.
He is obsessed with power, not heritage, and he wants to know if Zeke is staying close to the Empire just to watch it all burn down with him. Now he is comparing his vision to the Roman Empire, yapping about building roads and unifying the world into a single utopia.
It sounds like a dream, but when a guy who wants to ruin his family says utopia, you should probably run the other way. He wants everything to lead to his version of Rome, creating a world where everyone is unified under one rule.
It is a classic villain speech, but you have to admit, the guy has some massive ambitions for a secondary character. Zeke finally connects the dots when he hears the name Gaimons.
He realizes Abel is being backed by the maternal line of the imperial family.
This is not just a family feud. It is a full-blown political conspiracy with the Empire pulling the strings. Abel officially makes his move and invites Zeke to join his faction.
He promises that Zeke's talent will be rewarded with treasures beyond his wildest dreams if he just submits and plays the role of the loyal little brother.
The tension is thick enough to cut with a sword as Zeke stands his ground.
He is not about to be some mindless slaughterer for Abel's twisted cause, and he is definitely not falling for the dazzling treasure's bait. Zeke gives him a firm rejection, declaring he has already made up his mind on a different path.
Abel's face drops as he warns Zeke that he will regret this, but our MC just walks out like the absolute savage he is. Once Zeke is gone, Abel's friendly mask shatters into a million pieces.
He tells his subordinate William that since his brother refused to bend, it is time to crush the sprout before it grows any further.
Talk about being a sore loser.
We jump forward in time to Valhalla Academy, where Zeke is now 17 and a second-year student.
He is already done with the school life and decides to submit an early graduation application because he has bigger fish to fry.
He tells the dean he needs to support his family, but we know he just wants to get out there and start wrecking Abel's plans. He meets up with his buddy Diego at the office, but there is a new face in the room that catches his eye. The third student is none other than Asta Elidolf, and Zeke's internal alarm goes off instantly.
In his past life, this guy was known as the Illusory Knight, a total monster whose history was a complete mystery. Asta looks like he hasn't slept in 3 years, suffering from some major insomnia.
Zeke remembers that this guy eventually joined the Empire, so he decides right then and there that he needs to poach this monster for his own team. The dean reveals the graduation test is basically a suicide mission.
They have to hunt down a public enemy known as Yuksha, the Black Knight. This is not some school project. It is a high-stakes hunt for a legendary outlaw. These outlaws are built differently because they awaken their aura specifically to kill people.
The dean warns them that only those at Purple Knight rank or higher should even attempt this, giving everyone a chance to back out now.
Diego is just worried about how many rounds the test has, while Zeke is busy strategizing.
The dean confirms there are 3 brutal rounds, and this Yiksha hunt is just the beginning of their nightmare.
As the meeting breaks, Zeke follows the sleep-deprived Asta into the hallway. He knows that the way to a knight's heart, or at least his loyalty, is through fixing his medical issues. Time to play pharmacist. Asta is clearly struggling with his ringing head and just wants some peace and quiet. Zeke sees his opening and steps up with a confident smirk, offering a remedy for that nasty insomnia. Zeke knows that if he can save Asta from his sleepless hell, he will have one of the strongest knights in history in his pocket. He is playing the long game while Abel is still stuck playing with fire.
The hunt for the Black Knight is about to begin, and with a potential future legend on his side, Zeke is ready to show the world why you never bet against a regressor. Let the games begin.
The dean explains that outlaws have a fundamentally different combat style, focusing purely on lethality.
Our trio of candidates looks ready, but the sheer danger of this mission is finally starting to sink in for everyone except Zeke.
Diego is still acting like a clown, asking about the rounds, but the dean isn't joking. This is the ultimate filter to see who is actually worthy of being a formal knight before the 5-year mark. As they prepare to head out, Zeke's focus remains on Asta. He knows that recruiting this monster is the key to surviving the coming storm and making sure Abel's threats remain nothing but empty words. Our boy Zeke ends the day by offering Asta the medicine he desperately needs. It is the ultimate power move, fixing the unfixable and securing a legendary ally all in one go. Abel better watch his back, because the sprout is already turning into a forest. Imagine being a legendary knight, but you can't even catch a nap. Our future powerhouse Asta is currently a walking zombie thanks to chronic insomnia, and he is definitely not buying Zeke's sketchy offer of a perfect medicine. Zeke does not have time for a customer review.
He ignores the refusal and basically force feeds Asta a hit of Sandman's sleep sand from the system store.
One sniff of that magic dust, and Asta hits the grass harder than a college student after finals. When this man finally wakes up, he feels like he just slept on a cloud made of silk and dreams.
He is so desperate for another hit of that sweet, sweet rest that he transforms into the ultimate simp, ready to sign anything Zeke puts in front of him.
Zeke is feeling himself right now, thanks to his system store hacks.
He has officially secured another monster for his team, but he can't help but notice a pattern.
Aside from Reyna, every single one of the future 5 Divine Knights is a total mental case. Enough with the paperwork, it is time for a vibe check. Zeke decides he needs to see if his new subordinate is actually worth the effort, so he tells Asta to come at him with everything he has got. No holding back, just pure violence. The moment Asta grabs that spear, the sleepy simp is gone. His entire aura shifts into something sharp and deadly.
This is the genius spearman the future was talking about, and he is not here to play games with his new master.
Asta starts spinning that spear like a helicopter blade, creating a defensive wall that is honestly impressive. Zeke is watching closely, noting how the guy's whole demeanor is built on a rock-solid foundation of blocking and countering.
Zeke tells him to use full aura force, and Asta is more than happy to oblige.
The air starts crackling as they clash, spear against sword. It is a beautiful dance of metal, but Zeke is already looking for the cracks in Asta's perfect defense. Asta is actually holding his own, blocking Zeke's strikes with surgical precision. But Zeke has a few more tricks up his sleeve and decides to spice things up by activating Phantom Steps. If you can't see your opponent, you can't block him, right?
In the blink of an eye, Zeke vanishes into thin air, reappearing right behind Asta for a cheeky backstab.
Most fighters would be cooked right here, but Asta isn't your average knight.
He is about to show Zeke why he is a top-tier recruit. Just as Zeke's blade is about to connect, Asta pulls a pro-gamer move and splits his spear into 2 separate pieces. It is a dirty, unpredictable style that you usually only see from lawless mercenaries and outlaws who don't care about honor. Zeke is actually loving this.
Seeing his new knight use such scandalous tactics gets his blood pumping.
He realizes that Asta's threat range is way wider than it looks, making him a nightmare for anyone trying to get close.
The battle escalates as they trade blows that would turn a normal person into mincemeat. Asta is fighting like a man possessed, using every outlaw trick in the book to keep Zeke at bay.
But the master is about to remind the student who is boss.
Zeke is grinning like a psycho because this is exactly the kind of talent he needs. He praises the outlaw style, but it is time to turn up the heat.
He is done testing and ready to start crushing.
It is time for the main event. Zeke prepares to unleash the true dragon's swordplay, Chapter 2. The ground starts to groan under the pressure of his aura.
Asta realizes he is in deep trouble and prepares his family's ultimate secret technique.
Asta's Eladolf counterstrike is supposed to be an unstoppable deflecting move, but Zeke's Earth Slice is on a completely different level of overpowered.
The sheer force of the strike looks like it is going to split the entire field in half.
The 2 techniques collide in a massive explosion of mana and dirt. Asta tries his best to redirect the energy, but you can't exactly parry a mountain falling on your head. The power gap is just too wide to bridge with a fancy spear move. When the dust settles, Asta is flat on his back, looking like he just got hit by a freight train. He can't believe that his genius self was dismantled so easily.
Welcome to the big leagues, kid, where your family secrets are just appetizers for Zeke.
Zeke stands over him and delivers a savage reality check. He tells Asta that all the constant praise from his family has made his blade dull and his ego too big. He promises to put him through a training hell that will make his insomnia feel like a vacation. Asta is officially terrified of his new master, but honestly, he should be grateful. Zeke is going to turn this lawless spearman into a god-tier warrior, even if he has to break every bone in his body to do it. Back at the estate, Zeke's butler Decker is waiting with news of a special guest. Zeke has called in Galleon, the blacksmith who is already becoming a legend in this timeline, thanks to the magic tools Zeke gave him from his past life memories. Galleon is basically a fanboy now, totally impressed by Zeke's massive estate. Zeke wastes no time and pulls out the red armor he looted from that dead warrior Kane. He needs an expert to tell him what this mysterious gear is actually made of.
Zeke is thinking ahead as usual.
He knows Galleon is a diamond in the rough and wants to secure his loyalty before other nobles realize how cracked his smithing skills are.
The blacksmith is intrigued, but he has no idea what he is about to look at. As Galleon inspects the armor, his professional curiosity turns into pure shock. He has never seen metal that looks or feels like this. It is pulsing with a strange energy that feels ancient and incredibly dangerous. The poor blacksmith is having a mini heart attack as he realizes the quality of the artifact. He tells Zeke that among all the known relics in the world, nothing like this should even exist. It is a complete anomaly that defies the laws of smithing. Zeke drops a massive hint, mentioning that this armor was able to deflect a direct hit from an aura blade without taking a single scratch. Galleon's jaw hits the floor. Deflecting an aura blade is supposed to be impossible for standard metals.
Galleon begins to tremble as the realization hits him like a lightning bolt.
He starts looking at the material properties again, his eyes widening with fear and awe. He is staring at something that shouldn't be in human hands.
The atmosphere in the room gets heavy as the mystery is finally solved. Galleon confirms that there is only one metal in the entire universe capable of such a feat.
It is a material spoken of only in myths and legends of the gods. With a shaky voice, the master smith identifies the material as orichalcum, the legendary metal of gods. Zeke just hit the jackpot of all jackpots. With this divine metal in his possession, he is not just building a team, he is preparing to hunt the gods themselves. Look at this blacksmith shaking like he just saw a ghost. But no, it's just a piece of metal.
Galleon identifies it as orichalcum, the legendary metal of the gods, and he is literally losing his mind over how Zeke even got his hands on it.
He explains that this stuff is basically the holy grail for mana conduction, meaning you can engrave massive magic circles that would make regular armor explode.
Zeke just stands there with that smug look, acting like he did not just drop a nuclear-tier artifact on the table.
When Zeke asks about modifying it, Galleon basically tells him to get real.
Normal metals can't even handle a single large-scale circle, and this armor is already a finished masterpiece that defies logic.
Our boy Zeke realized this was a high-level item, but he did not expect the blacksmith to start hyperventilating.
Galleon admits that while the metal is divine, the problem is that the armor is already complete, and any mistake would ruin the enchantments forever. Galleon finally swallows his pride and confesses he is not built for this, but his master Gollin might be. Zeke just nods like he already knew, confirming that the legendary master smith is the only one who can touch this godly gear.
Then comes the shocker. Zeke casually mentions that Gollin is hiding out in Himonas, which is deep in the Northern Duke's territory.
Galleon is stunned because a noble from the central continent should not know these types of obscure, shady secrets.
Zeke just brushes it off with a classic "I just happen to know" excuse, while secretly plotting his future vacation to the snowy north.
He thanks Galleon for the info and leaves the blacksmith questioning his entire existence.
Zeke is already moving on to the next phase of his master plan, leaving the workshop with the stride of a man who knows he is the main character. He has got priorities to handle before he can head north, and they usually involve making people's lives difficult.
Next, we jump to a meeting with the Reinhardt merchant group where the vibes are immediately heavy.
They are talking about the struggle of producing soma medicine because setting up a factory in the central continent is a political nightmare.
The princess is worried that if word gets out she is supporting soma production, her reputation will take a massive hit. They need the Magic Tower's approval to call it medicine, otherwise, they are basically just illegal drug lords. The suggestion is to build the factory in the lawless south, but the merchant group admits they are too weak to pull off a project that big on another continent.
They barely managed to make the rose disease antidote, so a full-scale factory is out of their league. Zeke decides this is the perfect time for a massive flex, declaring that he will personally fund and build the factory himself. He makes it clear this has nothing to do with the Draker family. He is just that rich and capable on his own.
Now things get dark as Zeke hands the princess a file that basically contains a list of the Empire's sins. She opens it and her face turns pale, realizing that the civilized Empire is actually a den of monsters.
The file reveals the Empire is working with the Scorpion clan to do human experiments for synthetic poisons. It turns out the rose disease that killed so many was just a clinical trial, and the princess is absolutely losing it over the cruelty.
Zeke tells her to keep it secret for now, which honestly sounds like a red flag to anyone else, but he has a plan. The princess looks like she wants to burn the whole empire down right then and there, but Zeke's cold logic stops her. The princess slams the table, demanding they expose these evil deeds so they never happen again.
Zeke calmly explains that their current evidence is way too weak to be used for diplomacy, and the Empire would just laugh in their faces.
He points out that the Empire was smart enough to use the Scorpion clan as a shield, so they would just blame the Black Magic Organization and walk away clean.
Zeke wants to wait until they have undeniable proof that can actually destroy them.
Above all, it is better to let the enemy think their secret is safe while Zeke gathers more dirt.
As long as the Empire keeps experimenting, they will leave behind a trail of evidence that Zeke can use to bury them later.
The princess realizes Zeke is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
He reveals the real reason for the meeting. They need to prepare for the future biological weapons the Empire is definitely cooking up. If the Rose disease was just a test, the next poison will be 100 times worse. Zeke proposes they secretly develop antidotes for everything the Empire is making before they even deploy it, which is honestly a genius level of petty. This way, when the Empire tries to poison Alencia's soldiers, they will find out their secret weapon is basically just flavored water.
The princess is officially sold on the plan, realizing that bringing Zeke into the group was the best move she ever made. Zeke smiles, knowing he has got the princess wrapped around his finger for the sake of the kingdom.
He tells them he won't be around for a while because he is busy in Valhalla, but he promises to visit the beautiful mountains of Alencia one day.
They share a rare wholesome moment where the princess offers to show him around personally.
Zeke leaves with a smirk, probably already thinking about how he's going to exploit the next situation to his advantage.
Back at the academy, training is a literal hellscape where Asta and Diego are lying on the floor, begging for death.
Zeke just stands over them like a demon, telling them to stop wasting time and pick up their swords again. Diego is screaming that Zeke has the Draker devil blood in him, but Zeke just smiles while parrying their desperate attacks. He knows that to make them strong, he has to break their spirits and rebuild them into monsters.
After a week of this torture, the two idiots actually start getting better and even influence each other's styles.
Diego stops joking around and starts listening, realizing that Zeke is not someone you want to annoy if you value your life. The training session is finally interrupted by the arrival of Professor Andre, who looks like he has some serious news. The students are relieved to have a break, but little do they know, things are about to get even more dangerous.
Andre announces that the three of them are being sent out for the Continental Public Conquest mission to hunt down a legendary outlaw.
It is basically their graduation exam, and the stakes are higher than they ever imagined.
Since they are still just students, Andre reveals he will be joining them personally to ensure they don't get slaughtered.
Zeke looks completely unfazed, probably wondering if the outlaw is worth his time or just another stepping stone.
Imagine traveling across the country just to find out you've been recruited as a professional meat shield.
Our boys are on a train to the Black Knight Yaksha mission, but the vibe is already sketchy.
Professor Andre decides it's time for a reality check, explaining that the territory of Delphoa is basically a heaven for mages and a literal dumpster fire for knights.
In this place, knights aren't heroes, they're just mobile walls.
Their entire training revolves around holding massive shields to protect the mages hiding behind them. The mages just spam spells from the back, while the knights pray they don't get blasted by their own teammates. Talk about a toxic workplace environment. Diego actually uses his brain for once and asks if friendly fire is a problem, and Andre basically confirms that the mages don't give a damn if they hit their allies. This is exactly why elite graduates avoid this region like it's infested with the plague. They finally pull up to the city, and the arrogance in the air is already suffocating.
Andre meets Jorge Outer, the captain of the 8th Night Order, who looks like a hairy veteran but is acting way too submissive for a guy in high-tier armor.
Jorge is only showing respect because Andre belongs to the prestigious Draker family.
To these locals, a name is worth more than actual combat skill.
The real disrespect starts now.
Jorge points to a carriage where the actual leader is chilling, proving that even a knight captain is just a servant to the mages here.
Out steps the mage captain, looking like he's about to ask to speak to the manager of the entire world. This guy radiates arrogant NPC energy from a mile away.
He looks at our elite cadets like they're mud on his boots, refusing to let them anywhere near the carriage.
He's literally treating the top students of Valhalla like common dogs. The captain says he's going separately and leaves our group to find their own way. Diego is ready to go nuclear, but Andre tells him to pipe down. As the carriage rolls away, Diego is screaming about the blatant disrespect. He's not wrong, but yelling at a moving vehicle isn't exactly a power move, buddy. Zeke decides to give Diego a little physical calm down with a kick to the shin. Andre tells them this is a lesson in how unfair the world really is. They're told to remember this feeling because, as knights, they'll be dealing with these ego-tripping mages for the rest of their careers. Welcome to the bottom of the food chain. Their accommodations are a literal joke.
They're staying in a tattered shack that looks like it's held together by spit and prayers, while the mages live in luxury towers. While the rest of the group is busy crying over their bedsheets, Zeke heads out for some air.
He's lived through much worse humiliations in his past life, so this is nothing.
Zeke's real concern is the mission.
During the strategy meeting, the knights were treated like furniture while the mages did all the talking. It's a recipe for disaster. While wandering, Zeke runs into the mage captain alone. The guy is still acting like his farts smell like roses, ordering Zeke to stay out of the way during the fight. He sneers that the Valhalla brats should just be grateful if they survive the friendly fire.
Zeke is internally measuring this guy's neck for a coffin at this point.
Zeke leaks a tiny bit of killing intent, and the captain suddenly notices Zeke's gloves.
His smug face vanishes instantly as he realizes what he's looking at.
He recognizes the gear of a pure-blooded Draker.
These gloves signify the power to disrupt mana, which is basically a mage's worst nightmare.
The mighty captain turns into a shaking mess and warns Zeke never to take those gloves off before scurrying away like a frightened rat.
So much for that big talk. Zeke is just laughing at the cowardice when a familiar voice calls out to him.
Surprise, surprise, it's Professor Fannin, looking way too happy to be in this dump.
Fannin claims he volunteered for enlistment just to get some field research done.
He's acting like he's on a summer vacation instead of a dangerous mission.
But when Zeke mentions he's part of the Black Knight Yaksha operation, Fannin's goofy smile disappears faster than a mage's courage.
Things just got real. Fannin pulls Zeke aside, his face pale with dread.
He's not playing around anymore, and the atmosphere turns incredibly heavy as he prepares to drop a truth bomb. He delivers the ultimate warning: Zeke cannot go on that mission tomorrow.
It's not just a difficult task, it's a trap explicitly designed to fail and kill everyone involved.
Zeke is basically running on fumes while realizing his life is a scripted tragedy because Professor Fannin basically told him this mission was rigged to fail from the jump.
He is connecting the dots and realizing the higher-ups aren't just stupid, they are likely in bed with the very bandits they are supposed to be hunting. It is a classic case of military corruption where the people at the top are making deals with the scum of the earth just to keep their pockets lined and their status safe.
Enter the local mage captain who clearly thinks his long hair makes him a genius, as he orders the knights into a meat grinder while telling our Valhalla elites to sit and look pretty.
Zeke has zero patience for this clown energy and decides to drop a massive truth bomb right in the middle of the strategy meeting before things get out of hand.
When the captain tries to bark orders like a common NPC, Zeke just casually mentions that he is a blue knight and his buddies are purple knights, effectively ending the man's career.
The silence in the room is deafening as the captain realizes these kids actually outrank him and could probably turn him into a decorative rug if they wanted to.
Suddenly the captain is all sweat and stutters, quickly changing the orders to a patrol mission just to get these scary prodigies away from his delicate ego.
As they head out, Diego is confused why Zeke poked the bear, but Zeke just whispers that the whole raid squad smells like a massive rat alliance with the Black Knight Yaksha. Professor Andre clearly knows who the real boss is, so he officially hands command of the student squad to Zeke because he trusts a teenager more than the local military leadership. Deep in the woods, Zeke goes into full predator mode, sensing a hidden enemy presence and ordering everyone to shut up before things get messy and loud. The ambush is a total slaughter as the Valhalla squad turns the Yaksha patrol into a collection of very quiet corpses in record time with absolute precision.
After cleaning up the trash, they grab a survivor who spills the tea about a massive stone fortress that is basically a death trap for anyone stupid enough to charge it.
Interrogating these bandits is light work for Zeke, but the information he gets proves that the upcoming siege is going to be a total bloodbath.
The fortress is made of natural stone and looks impossible to crack, but the real problem is the allies standing right behind them. Jorge the Knight Captain reveals the mages won't fire a single spell until the knights have already breached the walls, which is just a fancy way of saying they are using the knights as disposable meat shields.
Before Zeke can even process how trash these mages are, a high-pitched whistle fills the air and heavy artillery shells start falling like rain from hell.
The sky is literally falling as shells rain down on their position, proving that the enemy knew exactly where they were hiding this whole time.
The whole area turns into a Michael Bay movie as massive explosions rip through the formation, sending knights flying in every direction while the survivors scramble in panic. Jorge is busy having a mental breakdown in the middle of the fire, so Zeke has to literally grab him and scream at him to stop being a coward before they all get wiped out.
It is obvious there is a spy among them because the enemy is aiming with cheat code accuracy, and Zeke is already planning how to find the traitor and make them pay.
As the enemy infantry charges through the smoke like absolute madmen, Zeke realizes that things are about to get much more violent than he anticipated.
Zeke notices the attackers have glazed eyes and are moving like literal zombies, confirming his worst fears about what is really going on in this forest. These bastards aren't just bandits. They are a literal army of soma addicts who don't feel pain, and now Zeke has to figure out how to kill monsters that don't know how to die. Imagine being so desperate for a power-up that you snort mana meth.
These southern mercenaries are officially overdosing on soma, and it has turned their brains into absolute mush. They are not just aggressive, they are completely unhinged savages living like there is no tomorrow.
Zeke watches the chaos and realizes his team is about to fall for the oldest trap in the book.
He screams at Diego and asks her to stop wasting their aura on these drug-addled nobodies. Fighting these maniacs head-on is basically just a stamina drain exercise that Zeke is not willing to pay for. Our boy Zeke has the only functioning brain cell on this battlefield.
He knows the real trash is still hiding in the shadows, waiting for the students to tire themselves out.
He is looking at the fortress like he is ready to sweep the whole place himself if he has to. Suddenly, the sky lights up like a 4th of July celebration gone wrong. The Delphoa Mage Corps finally decides to show up, fashionably late as always.
They drop a massive bombardment that finally makes those frenzied mercs realize they are outgunned. These mages think they are the main characters of this story.
They are blasting fire and mana everywhere, forcing the enemy to retreat.
It looks cool, sure, but Zeke is already smelling the stench of an arrogant noble captain about to ruin the vibe. Enter the mage captain, a man whose ego is clearly bigger than his mana pool. Instead of a thank you for holding the line, he storms over to Zeke looking like he just stepped in something gross. This guy is a walking red flag with silver hair.
This absolute clown is furious because the students actually defended themselves.
Apparently, his master plan involved using the knights as sacrificial bait to lure the enemy out further.
Imagine being so trash that your strategy relies on kids dying for your glory.
Zeke is staring at this man like he is a professional comedian. The captain is barking orders for the Valhalla squad to withdraw immediately, threatening them with insubordination.
He really thinks he is doing something here, doesn't he?
Zeke leans in with that icy stare and asks if this means their collaborative relationship is officially over. The captain, being a total simp for his own authority, confirms it. Big mistake, buddy. Huge. Zeke drops the ultimate legal flex. Since they are no longer under local command, and the Black Knight Yiksha is a continental enemy, Zeke is acting as an official knight of the Draker family.
He basically just told the captain to sit down and shut up because he has higher clearance.
Outmaneuvered and looking like a fool, the mage captain pulls his troops out. He sneers that Zeke will be the one to bear responsibility when they all die.
Honestly, the trash taking itself out is the best thing that could happen to this mission.
Silence hits the squad, and Captain Jorge looks like his soul just left his body. Zeke isn't having it.
He asks Jorge a simple question. Do you want to retreat like a coward or actually act like a knight for once in your life?
That bit of tough love works like a charm.
Jorge's pride is back online, and he pledges his sword to Zeke. They aren't just staying, they are going for the throat. Zeke is already cooking up a plan that doesn't involve being bait. Under the moonlight, the fortress mercs are feeling themselves. They look down at the tiny force remaining and start mocking them.
They think Zeke and his crew are just a couple of lost kids.
They are about to find out why you never underestimate a manhwa protagonist.
Jorge leads the frontal assault, screaming at the cowards to come out and fight. Arrows start flying, but the knights are holding their formation like absolute units. While the noise is distracting everyone, Zeke is busy playing Predator. The mercenaries on the wall are laughing, thinking their attacks are meaningless. They are so focused on the guys at the gate that they don't notice a lone rider detaching from the main group. Zeke is officially off the leash.
There he is.
The Black Knight Yiksha is trying to slip away like a rat leaving a sinking ship. Imagine being the leader of a fearsome group and ditching your men while they die for you. Absolute loser behavior. Zeke spots the target from the top of the wall. He tells Professor Andre to handle the gate-breaching duties while he goes on a little solo hunt. He is not letting this continental enemy escape into the night. Zeke's eyes glow with that "you are already dead" energy. He recognizes the target matches the description perfectly. The hunt is on, and Zeke is about to show us why he is the GOAT of this series.
Zeke launches himself off the wall like a human missile.
It is time to summon the big guns. He calls out the name Bucephalus, and the air starts crackling with pure, unadulterated lightning. A literal phantom steed made of blue lightning and nightmare fuel bursts onto the scene. Zeke mounts up, looking like a god of war. If you weren't hyped before, you better check your pulse. Bucephalus hits top speed instantly, blurring across the terrain. The velocity is so insane that the enemy observers can't even process what they are seeing. It is not a horse, it is a cheat code.
The outlaw leader hears the thunder of hooves and realizes he messed up.
Zeke is closing the distance like a heat-seeking missile. There is nowhere to hide when a Draker Knight is coming for your head.
Zeke lands right in the path of the fleeing leader, cutting off his escape route entirely. The Yiksha is sweating bullets now, staring at a teenager who looks like he is about to end his whole career.
Zeke hits him with that chillingly calm smirk and asks where he is going in such a rush this late at night.
The hunt is officially over, and the Black Knight Yiksha is about to find out that Zeke Draker is the ultimate final boss. Imagine trying to main character your way through a fight with some purple smoke.
This assassin bozo really thinks he is a threat, but our boy Zeke is just standing there wondering if he left the oven on at home.
The system pops up to say, "Hey, you are being poisoned," but Zeke has maxed out his resistance like a true gamer.
He starts roasting the guy, asking if he is some budget outlaw from the border because this performance is honestly embarrassing.
The assassin realizes his deadly miss did absolutely nothing and starts sweating under that mask.
Zeke is just casually mocking him, proving that being a legendary warrior means you get to be a top-tier bully too. Out of options and dignity, the guy lunges forward for a physical strike.
Zeke doesn't even bother dodging. He just stands there with that "is that all you got" energy that makes every villain lose their mind.
Zeke drops the draconian skill, Dragon Scale Armor.
The assassin's blade hits him and basically bounces off like a plastic toy hitting a tank. You can almost hear the guy's ego shattering in real time. Hold up, the plot thickens.
The blade starts glowing with aura, and Zeke realizes this isn't just a random bandit.
This guy is a professional operative who has been playing dress-up this whole time. Zeke exposes him as an agent of the Imperial Intelligence Bureau. The guy's face is pure horror because his top-secret cover was just blown by a teenager who should not know this much about the Empire's shady business. Playtime is officially over. Zeke delivers a beatdown so clinical it belongs in a textbook. In one single move, the elite agent is brought to his knees, bleeding out and realizing he picked the worst possible target. The agent tries the classic suicide by poison move to protect his secrets, but Zeke isn't having it. He literally force-feeds the guy a healing potion because "I didn't say you could die yet, buddy." Zeke starts dropping names, specifically the 13th unit, which officially doesn't even exist. The spy is shaking in his boots now because Zeke is basically a walking encyclopedia of the Empire's darkest sins.
The truth comes out. The Empire is running live field tests for combat stimulants.
They are literally using their own people as lab rats to create super soldiers, and this whole war was just their private testing ground.
The drug is called Soma, and it turns warriors into mindless monsters who feel zero pain.
Those crazy mercenaries Zeke fought earlier?
Just more disposable test subjects for the Empire's sick little science project. Here is the real kicker. The Black Knight Yiksha was a total puppet funded by the Empire. They manufactured this whole reign of terror just to gather combat data.
Talk about a massive red flag for the entire government. Zeke is disgusted by the corruption, while the agent is just terrified. He knows that if he goes back to the Empire, they will silence him forever to keep these secrets buried. He is basically a dead man walking. Zeke offers him a third option: live and serve a new master.
The spy is skeptical because he thinks the Bureau is everywhere, but he clearly hasn't realized who he is actually talking to yet.
Time for the ultimate flex.
Zeke reveals his true identity as a pure-blooded awakened of House Draker.
The agent's jaw hits the floor because the Draker name is basically a get-out-of-death-free card. Realizing that serving Zeke is way better than dying in a ditch, the spy agrees to defect.
Zeke smiles that devious smile and tells him he has a perfect new workplace. For someone with his shady skill set, Zeke heads back to the fortress, but something is wrong.
The boss is dead, but the siege is still going?
He approaches the camp and finds the atmosphere tense enough to cut with a knife.
He sees the mages just standing around doing absolutely nothing. It is super suspicious because they should be finishing the job, but instead, they are acting like they are on a coffee break. Enter the mage captain, a guy with a serious case of arrogant NPC syndrome. He blocks Zeke's path with his staff and looks like he is about to start a whole lot of trouble for no reason. The captain orders his men to arrest Zeke for this serious failure. It is a classic move by a small man with a tiny bit of power trying to assert dominance over a literal legend. Zeke just sighs in total exhaustion. He just dealt with an imperial conspiracy, and now he has to deal with this clown? You can tell he is 1 second away from choosing violence again.